this deck.
Oh, okay, fair. You know what? Yeah, well, actually, this is more of the toolbox variant then.
Yeah, so really here, I probably would assume that this deck is leaning into attacking with the Team Rocket's Spidops most of the time, and it's really a pretty solid attacker. Rocket Rush dealing 30 damage for each of your Team Rocket Pokemon in play. It's a decent-sized one-prize Pokemon at 130 hit points. It charges itself up with that charging up ability. I'm excited to see this deck in action.
Yeah, I mean, damage output might not be crazy, but the consistency certainly is there.
Yes.
A great opportunity to attack early and often, and we'll see what that looks like up against Gholdengo. We know what Gholdengo is all about. It wants to take these big knockouts, these two-prize knockouts, throwing away 5, 6 energies at a time. Does that work when you're playing against single-prize Pokemon over here, Chip?
Yeah. Well, it may be tough for Cody Graham. Now, the Gholdengo EX is resistant to grass, so it might mess with some of those potential 2-hit KO numbers that Charles would normally like to be eyeing up. We now see the prize cards going out. 3 energy in the prizes for Cody Graham, along with the Gholdengo EX. Charles on the other side, prizing a few supporters, has that counter catcher in the prizes, which also is a one-of.
Yeah, that's not great to see. Sometimes you're relying on that, especially in playing against a deck like Gholdengo that can attack fairly early if it wants to. Looks like a plethora of those Team Rockets supporter to go along with that, so a bit unfortunate. As you mentioned with the energies, we do know with the counts is 3 metal, so maybe not missing out on too much rain.
Should not be too bad. I think both players will be able to deal with these prize cards. Nothing super detrimental, I would say, at this point. I think our players are getting ready to get into this game. Looking at the deck lists, do you have to give the edge to one over the other, or are we just going to have to figure this one out as we go?
I mean, it would be us guessing. At this point, it looks like it'd be slightly Gholdengo favored, but you know what? We're going to read every card.
Yeah,
Let's
right
find
away.
out.
Cody Graham having to pick up the active Pokemon there for Charles. Not quite sure what's going on. And what a start for Charles Collier. You're not able to play a supporter on your first turn of the game in the Pokemon TCG.
Judge!
Unless it's just a couple of cards, and one of those is Team Rocket's Proton. If you go first, you may use this card during your first turn. Search your deck for up to 3 basic Team Rocket's Pokemon, reveal them, and put them into your hand.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfair, but you know what? They're Team Rocket. This is what they do, okay? If they want to get Pokemon, you give it to them, and you just deal with the consequences. This is a great opener here. You almost always want to go first when you have an opportunity like this.
Yeah, most decks in the format as well want to go second, not knowing what they're playing against. So it's probably kind of a little boost for the Team Rockets deck, to be honest, so long as you can find the Rockets Proton. Charles here will take a moment to check the prize cards, make sure he knows exactly what he has available and what he does not. I'm actually seeing a Sacred Ash there in the deck list, which is pretty interesting. A reprint of a card that came out originally in the XY Flashfire expansion. It's been a long time since we've seen that one. Just came out in Destined Rivals. And right away as well, we see the Team Rockets Murkrow hitting the bench. Cody says I'm going to have to read that one.
Yeah, there's some interesting things that go along with this Murkrow. You can search for that supporter if you so choose, but it's mainly about the Torment having an opportunity to slow down on those specific attacks of an active Pokemon. If you're playing against some of these big attackers, usually they just have one big attack you want to avoid. Maybe you can slow them down.
Yeah, let me ask you, how many attacks does Gholdengo EX have?
Oh, no. Yeah, that's actually a problem.
Gholdengo EX has 1 attack, so Torment can target Make It Rain, and Cody would not be able to attack with the Gholdengo that specific turn. We'll have to see how this develops. It'll be really interesting for sure. Cody now playing an Arven to kick off his first turn, searching the deck for any item card and Pokemon tool card. We'll likely try to get set up with something like a Buddy Buddy Poffin, but not before checking his prize cards. Checking your prize is very important in the Pokemon TCG, especially important when you play 11 basic energy, and they're all different types.
Yes, yeah. Understandable to take the full time here as Cody. You need to understand what you're working with. Does have a little bit of an interesting line. We've seen more players leaning towards this now with the Dreepy Endricloak. Just a 2-2 line, not going for the Dragapult this time around. And I think that's a pretty fair idea at this point. It's just one card that rarely ever sees play and doesn't help too many matchups.
Yeah, very often you'd see players have that 2-2-1 line, keeping that one Dragapult in there just in case, but in reality, it basically never happened. It kind of made its way into the deck a lot of times as a Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon counter. Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon is not really seeing much play in basically anything right now, so not too much to worry about. Off of the Arven, Cody is able to find that Buddy Poffin. This allows him to search the deck for any 2 basic Pokemon with 70 HP or less, put them directly onto the bench, and that Arven was also able to find Technical Machine Evolution, a very common first turn play for these evolving decks.
I'd say that Cody would know that he's got a little bit of time if he wants to build up a nice big hand here, but that's only if you really know what you're playing against. He doesn't know that this deck isn't going to feature cards like Iono. It's actually holding on to a bunch of different resources. This is one of those supporters, the Team Rocket's Ariana, to build up this massive hand. But does he have a little more to work with?
Does need a little bit more, and I think he'll be able to find it. I saw the pink card in hand.
Okay.
And that is Secret Box, the A-spec of choice, very common A-spec of choice this weekend.
Yeah, so helpful. There's so many good stadiums out right now, and this is definitely a deck that loves to focus on that, having access to that Team Rockets factory to build up this hand. You've already played your Team Rockets supporter, so now you get 2 additional resources on top of one of every card right now.
And now we are going to see the Team Rockets factory get worked in here. Ariana was already played as the supporter for turn, so that means the Rockets factory will allow Charles to draw some cards, 2 cards to be exact, since that Team Rocket supporter was played from the hand. Team Rocket's Giovanni eyed up as the supporter. Charles already planning ahead for the future.
And this is important in playing this deck a little bit. I've noticed that you can run into some issues with getting those grass energies into the discard pile. So Secret Box, thankfully, already helping a little bit there with that 1 grass energy to the discard, and now also searching out the Ultra Ball with an opportunity to discard even more grass.
Team Rocket's factory being utilized, 2 cards to be drawn, and that Team Rocket's Mimikyu hitting the bench. So this is telling us a bit about Charles' plan in this matchup. We're not seeing a Mewtwo. We're not seeing a bench space being left open for the Mewtwo. We do see now Charles has used Charging Up and is going to take the KO on this Gimmighoul with Rocket Rush. 30 damage for each of your Team Rockets Pokemon in play. 150, enough to take down poor little Gimmighoul.
Yeah.
180.
Well, starting a nice race here, and certainly that's where you want to be in this matchup. If you're playing with the single prize Pokemon and you have that opportunity, just think about what your opponent has to do every time to keep up. Dealing with this Pokemon means 3 energies hit the discard pile. You're using a superior energy retrieval, most likely, turn after turn to do that, and it's not cashing in on big knockouts. It's just a lot of irregular uses of your cards.
See a pretty strong combo there from Cody. The Cypher Maniac's code breaking, placing 2 cards from the deck on top of the deck and right into the coin bonus ability, drawing the top 2 cards, drawing those 2 cards that he hand chose from the Cypher Maniac. And of course, Energy Search Pro being one of those choices. This deck is really what makes Gholdengo run.
Yeah, misses out on the grass energy. Oh, no. I think he's going to be okay this time. He's got the metal. He's got plenty of energies to work, at least through the initial Spite Ops, potentially 1 more. And, I mean, this is what you need to do. Unfortunately, the rest of the hand didn't turn into very much. We don't see a second Gholdengo just yet.
We don't. Well, the other card that Cody grabbed was actually this Counter Catcher, and I think he's scared of the Murkrow. He picked it up, he read it, he said, I've got 1 attack, I'm going to get rid of this guy before I have to worry about what he does, what the plan is.
You know, if you don't understand it, get it out of the way. We can deal with Spite Ops in the future. You at least have another turn to think about it, as you're not directly knocked out, and it's just a 2 energy discard here with Make It Rain.
This is one of the benefits for Charles of playing a deck like this that's a little more unknown, a little under the radar. You know, he has probably got a game plan against Gholdengo. He's got a game plan against Raging Bolt. You know, all these different decks he could play against. He knows what's going to happen. There's a decent chance that Cody, on the right side of the table, has not played against Team Rocket's Mewtwo or a Team Rocket's box deck like this one, and doesn't know exactly what he needs to do to proceed.
Well, we will see Charles continuing to build up on this board, and just finding some additional Spite Ups, having these Pokemon as attackers. And we see Team Rocket's Ariana in the hand as well. So building right back up here with a great opportunity to see even more cards. Just a simple grass energy for the turn would be enough to do a little bit more. And I mean, you got free retreat on Mimikyu, so even better.
Yeah, Mimikyu really strong as an option just because of that free retreat. It's kind of worth playing in the deck just for that reason alone. The fact that its attack is really strong adds to it just a little bit more. The Team Rocket's Transceiver able to find out to Team Rocket's Giovanni. And is Charles going to chase down that little Gimmighoul this turn? Is that the game plan?
Yeah, it's not the worst idea at this point. You see your opponent is struggling to find additional Gimmighoul. You can take that single prize knockout fairly easy here, and then you're just working through a 2-2 prize map for the rest of the game if you so choose.
There is the KO. Cody now draws for turn. He has a ton of energy in hand, we know from the last turn, but just the one Gholdengo. No Gimmighouls, no other Gholdengos, and is a little far away from making that happen. Off of the coin bonus, draws 2 cards. Looks like he was able to find a Nest Ball, which will now allow him to search his deck for any basic Pokemon and put it directly onto the bench.
And now you have a decision to make. You can go for another Gimmighoul, but we've seen 2 fall already. If there was another search for this and you knock out this Pokemon, you're only going to have that one attacker for the remainder of the game unless you find the Night Stretcher immediately there. So we could see a bit of a hedge to go for the Dreepy and slow down. Give yourself an opportunity to maybe find a Buddy Poffin in the future and search out multiple Pokemon.
Yeah, I actually don't think I dislike the Dreepy grab here. I mean, Charles' bench is full. There's not really any plays he can make to deal with the Gholdengo. Like, Gholdengo's not going to get knocked out this next turn. So Cody can know that and maybe make a play to take a turn to establish Dreepy. But why not establish both Dreepy and Gimmighoul being able to be found off of Arven?
Yeah, that's a really nice find. With the Arven now, you search out both of these Pokemon. You have a little bit more play around that. And with the Monkey Dory, maybe there's a world where you can push enough damage off of this Gholdengo to avoid that 2-hit knockout range.
The combination of resistance and Monkey Dory is probably going to be pretty annoying for Charles Collier to deal with. He's hitting for 180 damage, minus 30 for resistance, effectively minus 30 for the Monkey Dory, dropping his damage all the way down to 120, which is not enough to 2-hit KO a Gholdengo EX.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out. Of course, this still puts pressure on Charles. He needs to find a full bench in order to continue to have these attacks. He's going to play the Ariana before the Ultra Ball, seeing a little less cards, taking a bit of a risk.
He probably had cards that he just didn't feel like he could get rid of in the hand, might have been the case. We do see the Team Rockets Stadium coming out. Now the Earthen Vessel able to grab 2 energy from the deck, adding them to the hand, basic energy that is, and then Team Rocket's Factory can draw 2 more cards after thinning these energy cards out. Really nice sequencing here.
Yeah, it's great to see. You have those resources now. Plenty of grass energies in the discard pile as well, so not missing too much from this point forward. Just looking for another Pokemon to add to the board to at least max out on your Spidops damage.
And the nice thing about these Spidops is it is a pretty low-maintenance attacker. You get the Spidops into play, and all you need after that is an energy card, because the charging up brings the other energy back.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if there's an opportunity for Charles at some point in the game to try to incorporate that Mewtwo. If you slow down,
sure.
Maybe find a spot where you can disrupt your opponent after a knockout, use your supporter to maybe limit the hand size and then play into that Pokemon, try to go for the big final 2 prize cards. But for now, you feel fairly comfortable continuing with these Spidops, and it looks like there's at least Ultra Ball or a Night Stretcher to find that 5th Pokemon to the bench.
Night Stretcher will be played, and there is another Spidops. Another turn to charging up, get just another energy card into play. It's exactly what we're going to see, and I think it's important for Charles to find these opportunities to get extra energy cards into play so that after a Spidops goes down, you can create the Mewtwo play all in one turn.
Yeah, to add to the Mewtwo play, with that energy switch, that one copy, you can really make that all happen without having to overplay into that.
So this is actually a pretty big miss from Charles. Did not have another Team Rockets basic Pokemon. There's an Ultra Ball in the hand, but I guess he maybe doesn't have another basic Rockets Pokemon.
There's Articuno that was there, but I don't think he wanted it.
The problem here with the math, so Cody will be able to Adrenabrain, heal this Gholdengo, put it up to 170. Maybe actually could still reach for it. I'm trying to figure out with the max belt math. That is the A-spec of choice, I believe, here for Charles. No, he has the Seeker box, I'm sorry. Where the list we were talking about earlier had the maximum belt. So I was trying to see if there's a way that he can sneak in that 2-hit KO using the boosted damage, but no, that is not going to be a play.
No, you're right on it with that. With the 5th Pokemon on the bench, you're dealing that 150 damage through with the resistance. Then the Munkidori moves 30 away. When you attack again for 150, it would be 270 damage on that Pokemon for a knockout. So without that additional bench Pokemon, he is missing out on a 2-hit KO.
Well, Cody is finally not missing out as he's been able to find another Gholdengo. We see another coin bonus being found. Still looking for a Dracloak, I would assume. Wants to try to start getting that streamed. Get that set up so that you can get that consistent recon directive, peeping at the top cards of the deck. And that's one of the nice things about Gholdengo. Once it gets fully up and running, you don't have, one Pokemon that draws you a ton of cards, but you have a bunch of Pokemon that draw you just a couple cards.
Well, we see now with this move from the Adrenabrain, this is another way that Cody can sneak back into the prize race. You're pushing damage over to a Pokemon that only have 60 hit points.
That's right.
So one more Adrenabrain takes the knockout on this Pokemon, and you're looking at a pretty solid lead at that point.
Yeah, that is a really unfortunate thing for Team Rocket's Mimikyu. Only 60 hit points. Not going to be enough. That's 2 Adrenabrains that are able to take that Pokemon out. Cody is going to play the Arven, does find that superior energy retrieval. Team Rocket Spot Ups, like we mentioned, does have 130 hit points, so that means that Cody needs to discard 3 energy from the hand with the Make It Rain in order to get a 1-hit KO. Superior will get 4 back from the discard pile into the hand. And now we will see the Make It Rain, I have to assume. In order to take this knockout, Cody's probably feeling pretty confident right now.
Yeah, it's a solid turn. You did exactly what you needed to do. You healed your Gholdengo out of range of a knockout, and you weren't too worried either way. Has an additional energy here to now have both attackers lined up, and the only thing that you're thinking of at this point is trying to avoid some hand disruption in that Team Rocket's Archer if you do know of its existence.
Oh, yeah. Even if Cody hasn't played much against Team Rocket, everyone knows the reason that people like the Team Rocket or the potential for it. The supporters are very strong, the Team Rocket's Archer being a great disruption option. We'll see if Charles actually has one available now. This would be a great turn to play it.
Yeah, you think about that in combination with the Team Rocket's factory as well. You're limiting your opponent's hand. You're building a new one for yourself, and then you add some additional resources. What does he feel comfortable doing here? He has the transceiver, so certainly all of those options now available.
Well, not quite, because there is actually only one Team Rocket's Archer in the list.
No!
And it's in the prize cards.
Just kidding.
That's not very good. This is going to be a tough spot for Charles now. This would be a great opportunity to try to slow things down. Even earlier in the game would have been pretty good. He's just not going to be able to capitalize here. You see him shaking his head. Doesn't really quite know how to proceed. He's not going to be able to KO Gholdengo here no matter what he does, even if he fills the board. He does have the Defiance Band. But with that resistance...
You get to 210, 180. No, you'll be there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you have to fill it with all of the unfun Pokemon, and we see that searched out now with the Team Rocket's Proton.
And this is actually going to line up nicely. I mean, Charles has got a pretty decent shot to close this one out. He can get the Mewtwo established, start to get some energy cards onto it. That can KO a Gholdengo in 1 hit. If he can clean up this Gholdengo right now, thanks to the Defiance Band, that's going to boost his damage output. He'll be able to take 2 here, use Rocket's Mewtwo to take the last 2, and he can win the game next turn.
All right, so as Charles, I assume the only other thing you're thinking of is, can you afford to bench that Mewtwo? It's pretty risky, and I don't think you want to do that here. He agrees, as this is a spot where if you do hold on to your hand, which can happen fairly often against Gholdengo players, you could surprise them with a big one-shot KO later on.
The Team Rocket's Articuno is a really cool card. Repelling Veil, prevent all effects of attacks used by your opponent's Pokemon done to your basic Team Rocket's Pokemon. Not useful in this matchup. Charles is just putting it in play to be a Team Rocket's Pokemon to boost the damage of the Rocket's Rush. But it's really strong into one of the most popular decks in the format, Dragapult EX.
Yeah, you do not want to run into Dragapult. Losing Pokemon like that Mimikyu early on would be unfortunate. It's just prize cards falling left and right. This Pokemon's so helpful, and Now Charles is trying to find where the best place to put this energy is. If this is the energy that is inevitably energy switched later on, Articuno seems like a safe spot.
It might be tough for Charles to close this out. We'll see if Cody can find the one Iono he plays. If he can, that would be really strong, obviously, this turn, putting Charles to just a couple of cards. Charles has been able to build up a pretty big hand. We're doing the math here. 180 plus the 330, that is 210, minus the 30, that is enough for the KO. 2 prizes now to Charles.
Yeah, we're pulling out the calculators, getting the job done, but it is enough. Charles now down to 2 prize cards remaining. He has that Archer if he doesn't have the combo, so at least has some answer if it's just a simple knockout and continuing with this single prize exchanging.
That's a pretty nice find right off the top. The Dracloak Recon Directive now able to be used. There's a Pokegear in hand. So an interesting choice here for Cody. We could see him use his abilities to draw some cards and then use the Pokegear to try to dig for the Iono, or he could Pokegear right now, try to find Iono and save those abilities for the other side of that Disruption supporter.
Yeah, and that's when you have to decide, is finding the Iono itself the only way that I win the game, or do I need cards after the Iono? If you think that finding the Iono is more important, you just use all of these resources now and then see a full 7.
And I think that is what Cody is going for, and it makes sense to me. In this spot, Iono would be massive here. Can he find it? It is just a one of in the deck list. It is not prized. If it's in the deck, he'll have the option. He's debating between the gear and the coin bonus.
It's because he saw a second one, I think. I couldn't tell, but yeah, now he sees it and he's going to question it. Is it in these top 7 cards to help out?
Looking for that Iono specifically. Does not find it here, but can thin another supporter out before the coin bonus. And if there's another Pokegear, that would work really nicely. Looks like Cypher Maniac's code breaking will be grabbed.
Oh, looks like the other one sitting right there in the Pokegear, so it was not available. It would have 2 additional draws, but does not want to do it. It's using the Cypher Maniac's code breaking this turn.
And Charles is going to breathe a sigh of relief here and immediately picks up the hand to look through it. If he has the Team Rocket's energy and the energy switch, he may be able to close out the game next turn with a Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX to take his final 2 prizes. It did not seem like Charles was in a very good spot, but he's actually found a way with this 1 prize Pokemon board state to work this prize trade really favorably into his side of the board.
Yeah, it was just a slower setup on Cody's end and trying to remain taking those prize cards here and there. Charles, he's just stayed consistent, and he has that closeout attack, which helps him skip one of those attacks with the Spite Ops, go straight into a 2-prize knockout. If he can find the energy switch, that's the only piece that's missing right now.
Yeah, that is what he's going to need to find. There's Team Rocket's Petrol in the list. It looks like it's actually in the prize cards. That would be a way that you can find the energy switch at the right time. So really annoying for Charles.
How does this keep happening?
To have prized these one of Team Rocket supporters that are really impactful at specific times in the game, but it may not matter. He may still be able to close it out regardless of that.
Well, as Cody, you just have to keep on trucking, find ways to at least build up a little bit more of this board. Has the Night Stretcher for the Gimme Ghoul to have an additional attacker to move into later on, or find more resources with with his Gholdengos, but he's taking the knockout, moving forward. It is the top deck.
Whoa, what a draw. The energy switch from the top of the deck, charging up, gets the energy onto the Spite Ops. Energy switch moves it to the Mewtwo, attachment of that Team Rocket energy, and Charles Collier uses Erasure Ball to take the KO, winning game 1.
Wow, out of nowhere finds the perfect answer. Did not even need the help. It was sitting in the prize cards, but he's got it. It was waiting for him, and that is a great way to take prize cards. You got to be feeling pretty comfortable now that you've seen this match play out.
Yeah, what a line there from Charles. He had a really nice board state. All those 1 prizers. Really difficult for Gholdengo to get through 6 single prize Pokemon. You have to discard energy cards every single turn. 3 energy being demanded of Cody turn after turn. And he just was not quite able to close things out. Ended up being close. Let's recap that game 1.
Yeah, some interesting things happened throughout the course of this game, just trying to figure out what to do when you don't exactly know a matchup. Murkrow looked pretty devastating and needed to be handled early on. Cody did not want to deal with that Pokemon, but it left him a little susceptible. He continued to lose single prize Pokemon back to back to back, the Gimme Ghouls falling left and right. And then this was a little interesting from Charles. He chose not to play the fifth Pokemon on the bench, knowing he had the Defiance Band to help him get the exact math he needed, surprised his opponent, and found a way to get down to these 2 prize cards remaining.
Yeah, really well played there from Charles. The math worked out very, very nicely thanks to the Defiance Band, and the KO is able to happen with the Rockets Mewtwo taking those last 2 prizes. The fist pump, we're moving to game number 2.
Yeah, a real fun one between both these players, trying to feel each other out in this opening game. What exactly do you do in this situation? For Gholdengo, that was not an ideal draw. You did not have all the resources you're looking for. You didn't use your cloak until the turn where you lost. It just doesn't line up very well, and we've seen much stronger plays. If you have that technical machine evolution and really get a big board, it could be a lot different.
Looks like Charles has found a mulligan here. Have to shuffle back in, draw a new 7, wait till he finds a basic Pokemon, and Cody will be able to take an extra card to start the game off. A huge, huge benefit, and it does look like Cody is actually going to be going second here in game number 2. The choice he has made, despite Team Rocket's Petrol.
Yeah, he's not afraid at all of walking into that. There's the
Proton.
There's the Team Rocket's transceivers, the Proton. There's a lot of ways to find this opening 3 Pokemon for the board, and he's not worried.
Yeah, Charles is recognizing how important it is to find the Proton early. Has 4 of them in his list in addition to the 4 Rockets receivers. Let's see if he has one of those 8 cards in his opening hand. Kicks things off right away with that Earthen Vessel, getting an energy into the discard pile. We mentioned in game 1 how that's really important.
Yeah, so crucial to see that. The discarding effects, so often they just don't line up for you. You're not playing that many grass energy. So not only seeing the initial grass energy for the discard, but now adding 2 more to the hand, it just means so many more energies available for the Spidops down the road.
It looks like there's actually a group that have decided to bring this Rockets list all together, Charles and company, and all of them are 4-1-1 or better heading into this round. So it's been a pretty good start. This start, though, not ideal for Charles. You got 4 Team Rockets Proton. You've got 4 Team Rockets Transceivers, and you have 0 of those cards in your opening hands. No Proton played on turn 1.
Yeah, Cody called it. He knew. He knew exactly what he was doing. He said, go ahead. If you got it, you got it. And he also does not know about those prize cards for both of these players. My goodness.
Wow.
For Charles, he has the one-of Energy Switch and the Mewtwo. And for Cody, he's going to be down his Energy Search Pro, which we know is one of the best cards for this deck.
Energy Search Pro, of course, extremely important, but also that one of Monkey Dory.
Ooh.
That is a big deal to see in the prizes. Adrenaline Brain could be a really strong way to get some healing, to slow things down, to maybe prevent a 2-hit KO on a Gholdengo EX. And with that Monkey Dory being in the prizes, Cody may have a tough time here. The Energy Search Pro, yes, not great to have prized, but in this matchup, it's not as bad as others. The guys that you're trying to KO have less HP. You don't need to get all of your energy cards in the hand right away. There are other ways to find those energy. You can draw into them. You can Cypher Maniac. We can see Earthen Vessel as well worked into the mix. But that Monkey Dory, that could be a real problem.
Yeah, maybe a little inefficient in those opening turns to find the energies, but once you have at least those first 3 or 4, you'll be good to go. We've seen how the math works out in this matchup, the resistance you play into, and trying to fill up that board. If you don't have a way to move that damage around, could be some trouble. This hand, we see plenty of basic Pokemon, some Gimme Ghoul to go along with this, but I'm a little nervous for the rest.
It will be the 2 Gimme Ghoul grabbed off that Buddy Buddy Poffin being put into play. And the shuffling of the deck does not make me feel confident in a supporter card being played this turn. Unless it is that one of Iono that was found in this opening hand here potentially. It does not make me feel confident in a Technical Machine Evolution.
Nope.
Which would be a pretty good opening play as well. This is a rough start really for both of these players potentially.
Yeah, see, The Pokegear is the one way that you can help yourself out now. 7 cards, trying to find likely that Arven as a great way to get out of this mess, and sure enough, it's sitting right there.
Yeah, Arven able to find now an item card and Pokemon tool card, add those to the hands. Technical Machine Evolution can be played. Another Gimmighoul. This hand went from not that good to pretty good.
You know what? Yeah, if you end the turn with 2 Gholdengo ready to roll, energy on your active, you're feeling pretty comfortable. We saw Switch there as well, but I think that's one of those resources you kind of hold on to thinking, well, Murkrow could be some trouble every once in a while. You need to bounce around.
I'm a little surprised, to be honest, that one of these Gimmighoul did not come out into a Dreepy. I think that would have been probably pretty good to get that established, start getting that Recon Directive right away with the Technical Machine Evolution. It is also, of course, very important to just get a bunch of Gimmighoul in play. And actually, we're going to see off the Arven, the Technical Machine Evolution, and the Buddy Poffin being grabbed to just get that Dreepy now established. Let's see if it's going to be a Dracloak or a pair of Gholdengo found here.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see slightly more resources when you go for the Dracloak, but if you just go to make it rain, especially with a card like Switch in your hand, if you just want to see more resources, you certainly could.
It will be a pair of Gholdengo put into play. And actually, this could be pretty nice for Cody. I think he's got his Switch in hand, so he can retreat into a Gholdengo, switch into the other one. We can get a lot of cards drawn with the coin bonus.
All right, I'm getting a little nervous now for Charles. Missing out on the Team Rocket's Proton, not only really unfortunate for the opening turn, but now in general, you just don't have many Pokemon to attack with your Spidops. He's looking to find some help.
You're not going to be doing too much damage onto this Pheasantipity. He's able to find the Ariana, fills the hand up to 8. Now that Team Rocket's Factory is used, drawing 2 more cards. Is there
it's just evolution.
Is there a little guy? I don't see a little guy.
Yeah, we're not finding round spiders, and this is a problem.
The Tarantulas have rolled themselves up into the deck, and that is the problem here with the Team Rocket build the way it is right now. You're really reliant on Proton to find your basic Pokemon. There's not things like a bunch of Nest Balls and Buddy Poffins like we see in other decks to get your basic Pokemon up and running. Charles is actually going to value saving this Spidops and just send up this Articuno, kind of hoping that Cody's going to be forced to KO that.
Yeah, it's not a pretty play to attack into Pheasantipity, not to handle anything. You're not setting up a knockout. You're not helping yourself out. You're only walking into issues with that Gholdengo on the other side. And this is a great turn for Cody now. Push some aggression, see a ton of cards with his Gholdengo, and maybe start to work in some big knockouts.
And yeah, this is very nice combined with the Switch in hand. There's also the Cypher Maniac's code breaking as well. So this can find any 2 cards that Cody wants. Switch can get into another Gholdengo. Cody can draw both of these cards, and he'll be able to start swinging here.
Yeah, we'll find out a lot about Cody's strategy. As we saw when he first saw the Murkrow, he was terrified of that Pokemon. So if he does hold the Switch, he could at least play around that, avoid the Torment really dealing that slowing turn that he doesn't want to see. But also, he could see more cards at this spot. If he doesn't have the resources for a knockout, maybe you do just use the Switch.
And it looks like he will choose to hold off on the Switch here. That being... Oh, I think Cody put the cards in his hands. He did. He did. He put the 2 cards from the Cypher Maniac's code breaking into his hand instead of on top of his deck. They're right there. He drew a card. He was like, I didn't put that on top of my deck.
That's not right.
And that is going to be an issue here now, most likely. Those are extra cards that he should not have seen.
It's unfortunate because if it were to just be using both of those abilities, you'd see the 2 cards, but he's seen the 3rd card, which was never supposed to be seen.
Right. He does have a Dracloak, so he would have in theory seen it, but it could change the sequence in which you want to use Dracloak versus coin bonus. Like, if you know it's a card you don't want, you could put it to the bottom of the deck with the Dracloak, then use coin bonus.
It's definitely naughty. You certainly cannot do what just happened.
Not that there's anything nefarious going on. Obvious mistake here. Cody realized he's the one who caught it himself and pointed it out to both our judges and to his opponent. Total... accident for sure, but an unfortunate one that our judges are now going to have to address. And we'll get word on exactly how this penalty is going to be ruled.
Yeah, we've seen this play out a few times. This is something that happens not only just on stream, but all over the tournament. if it does end up being a 2-prize penalty, that's something that Charles might need in a matchup like this. He just does not have a very great setup. He's playing pretty slow right now. It might be a turn 3 Team Rocket's Proton to get the ball rolling, and that might be enough if you have a prize penalty.
Yeah, if you have to take 2 less prize cards to win the game, yeah, definitely could be all you need, especially if you take the Rockets Mewtwo off the prizes, right? And then that can come in and take your last 2, usually saving that for your last 2 whenever you have 6, last 2 when you only have 4 to take.
Yeah.
It's a big difference.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about holding on to the very end. If it's right there for you, that's great. The one issue he does have is also pricing that energy switch. It would be the 3rd or 4th prize there, which would be his last 2 prizes.
But you can actually even be a little bit more aggressive about putting the Mewtwo in play because you can afford to give up those prizes with your opponent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, go ahead. Take the 2 prize
down
cards.
and try to build it up for a turn if you have the energy switch prize.
Yeah, I mean, without Monkey Dory, you don't have to worry about playing into the Spite Ops math. The Spite Ops math is going to work out just fine for you here.
Right.
Right. It's just, it's like weird stuff like
So we're hearing a conversation here at the table between the players and the judges.
Like this penalty, it's going to be a DPL because I looked at
And Cody's even
He knows.
explaining exactly. Yeah, he's been around the block. He knows how this works.
He honestly might already be a Pokemon professor. It just, we know exactly. He said exactly what I just said too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's a easy mistake to make, especially when you're thinking ahead, right? You're planning out exactly how this turn is going to play out. You know you're going to have those 2 cards in your hand. You just got to do the things in the right order to get them in your hand.
Yeah, I mean, last time that he did this, he did directly put them in his hand because he just tilted his Gholdengo that was active. It works that way, and sometimes you just get a little bit ahead of yourself. You got the lights on you. You're already thinking, what am I supposed to do in a matchup like this? This guy
You're down a game.
Yeah, he brought a Mewtwo out of nowhere last time. I had to read a Murkrow.
I didn't even know if this guy played Mewtwo in his deck, and then I lost.
Surprise, surprise, all over the place, but certainly not out just yet. I mean, this is a great setup that Cody has here. He built a pretty nice board. He's going to be taking a knockout. If you're down 2 prize cards, this is the board you want to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely starting to build up a pretty solid board. And looking over at Charles' side, I mean, things are still not looking great, obviously, with the setup. He's going to need some help here. Hopefully that Ariana found a Proton or a Rocket's Transceiver. You'd have to think, with so many copies in the deck, you know, surely now we've been able to find one.
I did get a little bit of a hint. I mean, if we're going to hang around here, you might as well know. Yeah, we did see the Transceiver added to the hand from the Ariana. So we'll have access to some plays here. Now, I'm a little nervous about the energies, though. We saw 3 grass energies hit the discard pile, I believe. Finding another energy for Spite Ups might not be guaranteed.
Now, you can use the Team Rocket's energy, right? It doesn't provide both energy, but it works for your colorless slot, right?
I mean, it's not pretty, but it works. You might limit some other plays, but
I mean, what other
plays do you need?
Yeah, you need the one for the Mewtwo. That's it, right?
Right. It's we're not asking for very much here.
Looks like our judges are kind of explaining things to the players. This should be a pretty simple fix. Like we've mentioned, it's a common enough mistake, so hopefully we can get back into the gameplay here pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, we have not seen terribly much from Charles this time around. Looking through the list, he's got a lot of great cards that could help him get a big setup and start to target down these last 4 prizes he would need, hypothetically.
Let's see if we can maybe listen in a little bit to this conversation as the judge is explaining the ruling here. Oh, as he steps away. Great timing.
Nailed it.
We were talking about the Team Rocket's Transceiver. I actually want to ask you, you know, as someone who has spent a lot of time in the game over the years, you obviously played back whenever Holland's Transceiver was a very played and very good card in the game for many, many years. You know, what's it like for you to be able to see those kind of same effects come back? Is that a cool callback to your history, or do you just kind of think about it more in the modern lens?
I loved the Holland engine. That was one of my favorite cards that we had in the engine, was using that Transceiver. Not only did it help you search out your supporters from the deck, but you could also target the discard pile, which was so helpful back then, having a card that works as VS Seeker or searching out the supporter like the current Rocket's Transceiver does now. It was the best of both worlds.
Looks like we are getting back into the game here, Kyle. Let's get now to the table and get an update as well on the prize penalty, whether that has been issued. Recon directive being used for Cody. Looking at the top 2, will add 1 to the hand, and sure enough, you see by the mark on the left side for Charles prize cards. It is a double prize penalty. Charles will have to take 2 less prize cards to win this game.
Yep, we added a little more time to the clock as well to handle that issue, so no worries there. Plenty of time for our players to continue playing through, and that is a pass of the turn.
Interesting to see the pass being the option here for Cody, and a pretty nice draw right from the top of the deck from Charles. Has the Team Rocket's Proton now. We can start to see him get some Pokemon established, get a nice little field of spiders going.
Well, a little nervous seeing the rest of the hand. You did mention that we could use that Team Rocket's energy as the second energy for that Spidops, but how is this Articuno moving out of the active spot from that point? It's tricky to see a line to attack now.
Yeah, not this turn, right? And I think Charles is probably fine to play this game. He was already okay to let the Articuno go down, and probably even more so now that the 2 prize penalty has been awarded. He can just let it go down this coming turn, or Cody can pass once again, and then now on Charles' next turn, he'll be able to play Giovanni to get the switch to target something else on the bench. Yeah,
that's a great point. Right now you see a Pokemon that will always be a single prize in that Dracloak. So if you can target the Gimme Ghoul here, you could then see an opportunity to go for a 1-1-2 prize map that might get the job done.
Yeah, and that's how Charles started the game off last game, right? He went 1-1-2-2, but now he could just go 1-1-2. I mean, cut out that last KO. He's got plenty of time. And that's just kind of the nature of tournament gameplay. Those mistakes really can cost you big time, and that's exactly what happened for Cody.
Well, we see all 5 grass energy here now. Found the earthen vessel, so thankfully he has both those energies in the hand. Can do what he pleases with those. Also has another Spidops to go along with this, so really starting to establish and just wants to spread the love around, have opportunities to eventually retreat this Pokemon or hopefully have it knocked out. Just save yourself some trouble.
The draw for turn is the Cypher Maniacs code breaking. Now, Cody, when you play this card, do not put those cards into your hand. He's going to start off with the coin bonus, a pretty smart sequencing move here. Draw a card, maybe use the Recon Directive even, and then you can go in with the Cypher Maniacs code breaking and use your active Pokemon's coin bonus.
Even flashes the code breaking over to his opponent. Look, they want me to do it again. What do you think? Looks like
Charles
it might
says,
be the play, though.
Go for it, man. Feel free.
Well, he's holding on to his active his Gholdengo here. He has a supporter option. And you know what? Redeem yourself, Cody.
There is the Cypher Maniacs code breaking being played. Let's make sure we do things in the right order here. Searching the deck for 2 cards and putting them on top of the deck. Let's say it all together now. Putting it on top of the deck. There we go.
Looks like it will work out just fine. Not many energies needed to take a knockout here. We mentioned no access to that pink card, but it shouldn't be a problem. Very limited hit points on the other side. 3 energies should get through just about anything.
And now he can put them in the hand as we do see the coin bonus. There is another Gholdengo. There is another coin bonus. And a counter catcher being found. Not something he can use probably at all this game if he's going to take this first KO.
And yeah, this is a great spot with the Cypher Maniacs code breaking to find that additional Gholdengo. You needed to evolve that Pokemon. Avoid giving your opponent an option to take 2 single prizers off of the board that easily. And now you got to work through a lot of hit points on the other side. Maybe there's a world where switching can help out and your opponent doesn't have access to that Guzma play that we see in the Team Rocket's Giovanni.
Yeah, that's a really nice call out on the evolve there. A huge deal for Cody trying to mess with Charles' potential win condition. Charles is going to kick things off, immediately evolving Tarantula on the bench into another Spidops. We're seeing tons of energy being thrown into play, a pair of charging up, and energy to be attached for turn. Is there another Team Rocket's Pokemon to put in play? Time for that Rocket Rush to start swinging.
Yeah, I think we saw we have the Defiance Band already there established on the Spidops, so some additional damage to go down here, but might as well throw that 5th Pokemon onto the bench, deal even more. And look at this, the Team Rocket's Giovanni targeting down the Pheasantipity. When you only need to take this many prize cards, 2 right off the bat seems lovely.
And this can lead nicely into a Mewtwo to potentially close out the game. He won't be able to make the Mewtwo in 1 turn. We know that with the Energy Switch prize. He'll take the Mewtwo off the prizes here, right? But it can be a way for him to just get through a Gholdengo. Even if Cody switches into a clean one, he'll be able to take things out. Now, 180 damage.
Oh, bitch.
Oh, the jamming tower!
Wow. Oh, no.
Charles forgot about it, and Cody had to recall it out, remind him that is a huge misstep. That would have been a huge lead for Charles.
Yeah, I'm wondering why I'm not ready for that. And sure enough, it is. It's just not available, and this is a really unfortunate spot. This damage left on the Pheasantipity. This might be the opportunity that Cody needed here. Seeing plenty of resources now. He's taking knockouts.
There's not something like a Team Rocket's Sneasel in this deck, which could target down the bench. That's not going to be a play that Charles has available to him. If he wants to deal with this Pheasantipity, he'll have to play another Team Rocket's Giovanni to bring it back up.
Yeah, very unfortunate. And I mean, this is why you have to pay attention to everything going down on the board. Has that jamming tower for a reason. It worked out so well there to just limit that damage output. Didn't have to worry about resistance this time, but there was another way to stop 30.
Yeah, that jamming tower bump of the stadium was huge. Charles did not have a counter stadium or didn't realize he needed it and missed out on a 2-prize KO.
Well, from here for Cody, the game plan's simple. Your opponent just essentially wasted an attack. It's a great spot to put some pressure on these attackers. If you can continue to remove Spite Ops play after play in this situation, maybe you do just catch your opponent in a spot where they have to bench that Mewtwo preemptively, and you can target that Pokemon instead.
Arvin's played as the supporter for turn, searching the deck for an item and tool. Will be superior energy retrieval, just kind of building the hand up, prepping for the future. You could argue to hold on to those supporter cards. They can be nice to find off of a Team Rocket's Archer, which we could see incoming for Charles at any point here with any of these KOs. And the picnic basket, might as well, right?
I mean, you called it out in the pre-show. This is the card you wanted to see, maybe not in this context.
Yeah, I was not thinking about it in the Team Rocket's Spite Ops versus Gholdengo matchup when your opponent's got 2 prize cards and they didn't realize the jamming tower was in play.
Oh, come on. I know you saw that. Give the bird a sandwich.
That sandwich, it has eaten, 30 damage healed. Gholdengo takes the KO. And now Cody has kind of erased the deficit that he found himself in. Sure, Charles still only needs to take 4 prizes to win the game, but Cody has effectively now tied this game up.
Yeah, now the question is, what do you do as Charles? Do you want to continue to attack in with a 2-hit knockouts available, or do you sneak the Murkrow in?
There's the Team Rocket's factory being found, and I actually saw one in the hand. I wonder if that was in hand for Charles last turn, and he just did not think about the jamming tower. That is a possibility.
Well, he did not have to worry about finding another Team Rocket's. Giovanni had the counter catcher played into his own deficit, but it's a 4-4 prize lead now, and knowing that you only need those 2 additional resources has to feel pretty good.
Now, with the Defiance Band being gone, if Cody may be able to find a way to navigate this situation so that it's really difficult for Charles to 2-hit KO a Gholdengo. The main problem with that is going to be that Monkey Dory being prized.
Right.
We'll see if Charles is able to do. He does take the Mewtwo. That Energy Switch still is in the prize cards. Monkey Dory in the prizes for Cody. I foresee this being a problem here in these next couple of turns. Let's see what Cody does here now. Starts it off with a Nest Ball on his turn.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the lines potentially playing out already. Enough damage on this Gholdengo. You can't move it around. You switch, trying to hide. And then if there's a way to bring this Pokemon back up, another Team Rocket's Giovanni, another attacker ready to roll, you can take those 2 prize cards, close things out as Charles, get the job done here, move to 5-1-1.
It is going to be a fail from the Nest Ball. No viable targets in the deck, or at least ones that Cody wanted to pull out at this time. He's got a lot of cards in hand. He's got plenty of options. Looks like Boss's Orders, a few energy, superior energy retrieval. He can really do whatever he wants. So the question is, what is that? What does he want here, Kyle?
Yeah, he's trying to find the answer, and it's awkward because your opponent doesn't have anything threatening on the other side of the board. The active Pokemon is the most threatening thing you see. The knockouts, fairly easy to accomplish. The only other thing you'd potentially think of is, in a normal deck, is do I have a way to disrupt my opponent and maybe give them less options? And it's just the 1 copy of Iono.
Cody will play Ultra Ball, just fitting the hand out here, I guess, at this point. Wants to be able to play superior, wants to have plenty of energy in the discard pile if he gets hit with the archer so that his superiors are able to find more energy cards as well.
And we saw the Iono left in the deck, about 10 cards remaining. It's not exactly the perfect time for it. You're still giving your opponent 4 more cards to work with. They could find plenty of these other Rockets supporters with those options, but does draw into it now. So if this is the way you want to go, you have that opportunity.
Let's see what he is able to end up piecing together here. He does need to use a superior if he wants to get this KO up at this point. He's going to choose to bench another Dreepy. And that does open up the 2-1 prizer line here now. That's a real play for Charles. I don't know if I like that benching.
Yeah, I mean, for Cody, he's just thinking about himself, and understandable. You want to go for another Dracloak in here, but he doesn't realize that in his prize cards is another one. Maybe he's playing to the draw of that card.
I think he just doesn't want the Dreepy to be in the deck. That's probably more so what he's worried about, I would imagine.
Well, it goes to the bottom of the deck with Iono. Who cares? If we're worried about finding it with your opponent already using a Team Rocket's Archer that you haven't seen.
I'm just saying what his thought process is. I'm not saying that it's necessarily the best thing to be going for here, and we could see it really hurt him here at this point. Now, Charles has used at least one Team Rocket's Giovanni. He does play 4 full copies, so as long as he can find those transceivers, and if he can also, he does need to find more tarantulas. He needs to find more spot ups. He needs to make the attackers, but if he can do those things, Giovanni into Giovanni is a real win condition.
Yep, not too far off from having the game ready to go, but will be losing one of those spite ops. We see the energies available to a point where he's even comfortable attaching to a Dracloak. 70 damage, you know, that could knock out a Mimikyu.
Well, how about let's start with knocking out the spite ops. That's what we see from the Make It Rain. 3 energy discarded, promotion of the Team Rockets Mimikyu. And let's see what Charles has working. There is the Rockets Factory. There is not much else.
No.
No supporter, no transceiver. Not much going on here. Can bump the stadium, but
might be Murkrow time. I don't see much that I love here.
And it could be that really could be the lineup that Charles goes for now at this point. Just trying to buy some time, buy a turn or two, put himself in a position to try to close out the game on the next turn.
Yeah, and I mean,
couple turns.
This means your opponent needs to play that Psychic Energy onto the Dracloak, also have retreating options if so. Didn't really prepare for that sort of play. Just running into a 2 retreat cost on the Gholdengo. If you maybe played a Metal Energy onto your other Gholdengo, you could retreat right now and attack for a knockout. Instead, you're stuck. You're waiting for that switch card, and can't remember if we've seen that or not.
The switch did get put to the bottom of the deck on the last turn with the Iono, and Cody has the Arven in hand currently.
All right.
So that will be a way to get out of this. Torment was used, 30 damage, and now Cody cannot use Make It Rain on this turn. See a coin bonus from the active, a coin bonus from the bench. There's all sorts of ways to draw cards here.
Just almost an embarrassment of riches to draw into all of these different cards, but not have anything exactly you're looking for, other than a switch, which you can find whenever you want.
He puts so many good cards to the bottom of his deck, and he doesn't have a way to shuffle his deck. I think he needs to draw into either superior or a switch here if he wants to pull off the full combo. Actually, not necessarily anymore. He's now drawn into more energy cards, so that actually will work out decently. He can just switch, find the metal energy, and he is actually able to find the switch off of the Recon Directive. That can get into a different Gholdengo, and that'll allow him to Make It Rain, take a KO. Or he's going in with the Dragon Headbutt. Doesn't Murkrow have 80 HP?
Yeah?
Yeah, this is not a KO. This is going to be hitting the Murkrow for 80, or for 70. It's got 80 HP. Does he have a way to boost damage here in the deck?
Mimikyu?
Okay. There we go. Finds a way to take the prize card, uses the boss's orders pretty effectively. It goes down to now just 2 remaining. Charles here went from being in an excellent position with the 2 prize card penalty to his slow start just being too slow, and his opponent's use of Iono at a really strong time, leaving him with no draw power. He was unable to find a Rocket Supporter, Rocket Transceiver. We're going to see Sacred Ash putting up 2-5. Pokemon from the discard pile back into the deck. Looks like Mimikyu, 2 Spidops, and a Tarantula.
I don't know if I like this either. You're not finding any additional draw from your deck right now. You're in top deck mode, and you just added 4 more draws into your deck that probably aren't great.
Did he find a supporter off the top this turn? Did he find anything, or is it just there's nothing happening
There's
still?
nothing right now. There's a Team Rocket's Energy, an Ultra Ball, at least a knockout here, which is why we don't exactly love to see the Dracloak play as the attacker. Now it's the potential to knock out this Dreepy is still certainly available. I'll take it back. You know what? Spidops might be okay here. If top deck Spidops would be great.
He needs a top deck, yeah. Top deck of the Spidops, and he needs a Giovanni, a way to get this Dreepy or a Dracloak, if that's what it becomes, into the active spot.
Of course, if the Team Rocket's factory stays around, you see that Giovanni early, then you could draw into the Spidops.
Right,
have
true.
the answer perfectly lined up for you. 90 hit points away from closing out this game. If he could get it done on the Dracloak.
Yeah, Cody will have everything available to him that he needs for the rest of this game. What's in his deck, he can now draw with the combination of Coin Bonus and Recon Directive. And time is now ticking down. It's going to be turn 0 here for Cody in just a few seconds. He'll have a couple of turns to try to close this out to sneak out a tie. We are not going to have time for a game 3 here in this set.
Yep, and for Cody, maybe this is okay. You've been working tirelessly to get the job done. You've already got your back against the wall, trying to work against this prize deficit you've given your opponent. You just need to take 2 more prizes to get the job done. You're knocking out the best card on your opponent's side of the board. It's all up to their draws at this point. Can Charles find the answer?
Time has been called. Cody will be turn 0 of time after this KO here from the Make It Ring. Charles turn 1, Cody turn 2, Charles turn 3.
So in this spot, I want to see Murkrow promoted. You have a way to move this Pokemon with the energy already attached. You're looking for the top deck of the Team Rocket's Giovanni or the Transceiver. With that option, you could then draw 2 additional resources with the factory. It could all happen right here, right now.
It's a 2-card combo to win the game right now. Team Rocket's Spidops and that Team Rocket's Giovanni, and Ultra Ball is able to find the Spidops, but there's no way to draw more cards. No Pheasantipity, no Mew EX. Spidops comes down, but now Cody will be able to just knock out anything. I think at this point for Charles, if he can't win the game here, he's going to have to just go for the Torment, and that's exactly what he'll do, choosing Make It Rain. We'll see if Cody has the pieces to make this happen, and it does indeed look like he will. Attach the Active Retreat, and then a couple of energy cards from Make It Rain. Takes the KO, tying up this set and tying the match.
Yeah, I mean, that was something else for both these players. Just grasping at straws, trying to get over the